Hey, it's Akeem, back with the first session of Let's Talk. If you've been following me, you know that I'm on my second week of Mindset Mondays and Midweek Motives. This is a direct cause of me breaking out of a mindset. This blog podcast, I've had this idea for about 4 years, 4 or 5 years now. And each time I've started, I've kind of been my own biggest critic. And I've always found a reason to stop. Like whether I didn't think the videos were good enough, which was the case with why this is coming out today. I made like 20 videos and threw them all in the trash. So one of the things I did to change my mindset on that was I record one video and put it out. This allows me to not have that time to contemplate, to go over it, to question myself, to kind of really be my biggest critic. It allows me to be me and get it out without trying to be a perfectionist. So with that being said, I'm gonna go in depth with the types of mindsets we have on a scientific level. Two of them are conscious mindsets and two of them are subconscious mindset. So our default mindset, that's a subconscious one that is essentially your habits. These are the things that you do without thinking. You've done so many times that your brain doesn't really have to process it to get it done. There's really no extra work done. You're just able to do it. Things like opening the refrigerator, waking up, getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, writing. These things, when you pick up a pen, you know to pick it up with your dominant hand, and you know how to write because you've done these things so many times before. To switch out of this mindset, though, you want to go from a default mindset to a direct mindset. And this is a process. A lot of people think this is just like a switch, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves with so many of these spirituality pages and these pages about positive thinking and all that. They don't take into concept that our minds aren't just a flip of a switch. It takes work. Just like it took time to learn those original habits and those original thought patterns, those things, to break those is going to take some time too. Taking some unlearning and relearning the new things. So to go from a default mindset to a direct mindset, it takes a lot of slowing down. You have to take your time in moments and actually think about the things you're going to do. Think about the way you're responding to things, especially those things you want to change. Like one of the things, like with work, I was getting really short-tempered and angry because I was overworked and not putting the energy I need to into myself. So one of the things I had to do is take that step back and learn, like, hey, are you angry at the situation, or are you angry because you aren't able to do the things that you need to do outside of this situation? And me attacking and addressing that has been able to help me completely flip the switch. Now, that took me about 6 weeks. In December, I really started to notice it, and just now, I'm really kind of coming out of that mindset. And that's the subconscious and conscious version of that. And then the next one is a fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. The fixed mindset is essentially is similar to the default mindset, where it's more of a subconscious thing. Like it's things we've been taught. I'm not where you have those where the limiting beliefs fall, where it's I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not in enough shape, I need to do this before I'm qualified, I need to do all of these things that stop us from moving forward or taking action on our goals or things that we want to do. Those are considered limiting beliefs. One thing to help with that is to write them down so you can acknowledge where you're having these shortcomings or where these blocks are coming from. When you write them down, it's easier to see them, and then it's something you can carry with you, so you can look over it as you're going through your day, whether it be at work, just a normal like day off where you're dealing with friends and family. But whatever the case is, write these things down, and then that's your first step to addressing them. With that, the easiest way to kind of overcome those is to also ask yourself, what have these beliefs cost me in the past, and what are they costing me in the present, and if I don't change them, what are they going to cost me in the future? So for mine, it's if I didn't change that mindset, then I would have never got this podcast off. Like I started it twice before and just never kept going with it because I was always like, well, you need more time so you can edit videos. You need more time to do this. You need to add this. You need a new background. You need to get a background made that has the podcast name on. All these other things that I said that will actually improve the podcast or give it another a more in-depth look, but aren't necessarily needed to actually do the podcast. So that's with that thought pattern right there. That's one of those things that I had to change, and I had to learn that if I didn't change that mindset, it was going to cost me the potential of turning this into what I wanted to be, because I was never going to get it started. If I don't get it off the ground, nobody's going to notice it. It's not going to be able to. It's not going to be something people can turn to, so it can help others who are going through similar things. So with that, I had to. That was my answer. It's like it. It cost me years of being in this environment where I can associate and connect with other like-minded people, where we can exchange and flip ideas and possibly become guests on one another's podcast. Without me having my podcast, I can't do that. And then in the present, it puts me in a mindset of like I'm lacking. I'm not doing things that I need to do, but especially because like I'm not a person who's attached to money, and with as much as I work, it's internal conflict of mine, where it's like, okay, well, you're making all this money, but you're not doing the things that make you feel good. You can go buy the things that you want to do, but your heart's still empty from letting your passions out. So take the time to look back at what your limiting beliefs are. Take note of what it has cost you, what it's costing you in this present moment to continue to have that, and what it's going to cost you if you don't change that. Those things are big precursors into flipping that switch, because once you realize that you have greatness within you and that all you have to do is let it out, those beliefs start to shatter and become secondary. The second thing to go along with that is mental strength and self-discipline, and also self-love. That's those things, especially discipline, mental strength. Those things people don't really address too much. A lot in our society right now is focused on mental health, not the strength of your mentality. And then also with self-discipline, so many of us are stuck in that FOMO, the fear of missing out, the instant gratification. And in the same realm as those, you should ask yourself, like, what is the fear of missing out costing me? Is me jumping on every opportunity to go out and have fun costing me things that I want to attain in the future? Is it taking time away from building things that I want or creating things that can help me go to that environment that I want to be into and reach that next level in life that I'm chasing? And then with the self-discipline, this one goes a lot more with this one goes a lot more with, it falls with the fear of missing out, but then it also falls into that just doing things so you're a part of the crowd. A lot of people don't like to miss out or seem weird or seem like an outcast. But one of the things one of my beliefs that I have changed over the last 3 or 4 years actually is that I'm okay with being misunderstood. There's no person on this planet who is going to be completely understood by any other human being. We're way too complex for that, and also we're not meant to be understood. I feel like we're meant to be experienced. Each person has a unique set of characteristics that they bring to the world, and I think to experience those things and be able to learn from them, take some things from those, is way more important than understanding why the person is that way or who the person is, or even trying to put them in a category, which also falls into the limiting beliefs of like seeing a certain person say like, but tall people, we're like, oh, you should be playing sports, you should be an athlete. Like, yeah, but what if that person's an artist? What if they are great with writing words or being a poet or maybe even music? Like, people all like to put us in a box because of these preconceived notions that our society has put out, parents, family, work environments, that have you believing that you aren't capable or that you should only be one type of person or fit one mold. And that is completely false. You have the ability to be exactly who you want to be as long as you're willing to put the work for it. And that's another part that we have to also acknowledge in our generation, where we run through everything. We got to take time to slow down and realize that there's nothing worth having comes easy, and everything that we want to last is going to take time to build that foundation to make it last. Anything built on fragile ground always tumbles. If you want, so take that time to do the groundwork in order to build in order to build a strong building on top of that foundation. The one thing that I want to acknowledge is that most struggles we have are rooted in a subconscious belief that you aren't capable of doing what your mind is trying to accomplish. A lot of us don't give credit to the strength and power that our mind has, but when you look at scientists, you can go read books, you can pull it up on YouTube and see countless amount of speeches of people in these fields talking about how most of the things that we struggle with is because at some point in life there was something that put it in our mind that we couldn't do it. Like with me, I always was big into taking pictures and things like that as a kid, and then the older I got, I started seeing like how professional cameras and whatnot, and then I kind of let that filter in. Where it's like, oh, you need this camera to take that good of pictures, or or you need this type of editing software in order to get to that level. Blah 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 blah. I know some people who literally shoot on iPhones or Androids and take some of the most amazing pictures ever. So take yourself out of those beliefs of what it takes, what you think it takes or should look like, and just start and create your own version of what it looks like. The more of us who think different is the more opportunity we have for change and growth. And I think that's something we really need right now in our society, especially with like the way COVID is another one we can talk about with the vaccinations. We had all these fights about it, and people are disconnected with family, friends, on top of the fact that a lot of us can't travel anyway because of the restrictions and things of that nature. And instead of making it a fight, why don't we just allow people to be who they are and accept that their decision is theirs? And with every decision, you have to live with the consequences of your actions. So let that be that person. It's great to be compassionate and care about others, but it's not good to force anything or thinking patterns on other people. And to wrap this up, my personal thing I'm gonna say about the whole mindset thing that I've learned is until you align your actions with your values, you'll always suffer at the hands of internal conflict. If your beliefs don't align with the things you do, if you believe, like, if we all had these visions of our life as a kid, and as we grew up, different things tainted, tarnished, or brightened those visions. And at this point, we have to take time to reevaluate what the things are that we value, and then are we living our life in accordance with those values. So that's gonna be that's it for me today. Take those with you. And actually, no, there's one more quote I just remembered from Jim Rohn that helps me a lot with the way we deal with the outside validation. The day you got the diploma, you just got recognized for the success that you already are. Too many value the moment today, but do is greatly value the destination. Success is a daily thing. Your success is determined by what you do daily. So take that with you and take these grandiose pictures, shrink them down, and make your life what you want it to be. And for lack of better language, fuck what anybody else has to say. Do you, if you're happy with it and you aren't hurting anyone, live the life that you want to live that's going to make you happy and accomplish. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Sending peace, love, and light your way.